Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun live. If you're watching it live. Brethren, welcome to the Temple of Truth again. And no matter how far a lie travels, the truth can catch up within just minutes of moving, which is what the Temple of Truth is always all about. The Temple of Uncomfortable Truth. Here we are. After reading the caption of this broadcast, I sort of implore you to please read the description of the broadcast as well. Like the broadcast. Then share it. To invite your friends and your not so friendly friends, tell them all that Mayegun is live. And if you have done that already, again, thank you. So, tonight, we are continuing from the El-Rufai, the Kaduna Little Fingers escapade. I'm talking about his newly formed role of, opposition to Tifnumbu. The same Tifnumbu that they danced their Buga together in London after their show of shame at the Chatham House in London in December 2022. Teamship, remember? Then El-Rufai, who has been pretty much like singing on how to bring together opposition in Nigeria to come together, strengthen themselves, and then go on and remove Tifnumbu. El-Rufai, the guy who once on the side of Tifnumbu, God knows what really transpired, by the way. However, El-Rufai, Kaduna Little Finger, the Southern Kaduna Adolf Hitler, or El-Rufai, as some will call him. Before now, one of the reasons why Tifnumbu is unpopular in Nigeria when it comes to any former or present, leader in that contraption. The reason why Tifnumbu is not really popular is because of his history, antecedents, of course. Lack of integrity or character, because Tifnumbu is a criminal. Tifnumbu is known to be a drug lord. In fact, it is not new, but because Nigeria is Nigeria, where criminals are pretty much well rewarded in that place. Tifnumbu is a drug runner. Apart from the fact that Tifnumbu is a drug addict himself, verified, certified drug addict. He is also a drug runner, which is also a certified drug runner. We call him a drug baron. Tifnumbu forged. Everything about him is lie. Everything about Tifnumbu is lie, except the truth of him being a drug lord. Tifnumbu forged his own certificate, school certificate. And it is not new again. It's always been discovered, but the system has always been like shielded him. So Tifnumbu the kleptomaniac, the treasury looter, Tifnumbu the druggie, Tifnumbu the addict, ended up being the the guy who twisted the entire APC to get their tickets, only to bring on board El-Rufai, the Kaduna Little Finger, a jihadist, a terrorist sympathizer, a terrorist sponsor himself. El-Rufai, the Kaduna Little Finger. So El-Rufai championed the Tifnumbu's presidency or presidential ambition in the last minutes, where even when all evidence were flying left, right, and center of Tifnumbu's past, even present at the time, to them it doesn't really matter. Tifnumbu is a Muslim, and since they were promoting Muslim tickets and God knows what else, right? El-Rufai, the Fulani terrorist who was a governor of Kaduna himself, El-Rufai championed Tifnumbu Sote. He actually kidnapped people who opposed Tifnumbu's candidacy in Kaduna. That is also a fact. But everything went south. Like everything sort of like changed the moment Tifnubu became the INEC president of Nigeria. He betrayed his supposed closest enemy of, El-Rufai. Everything went so fast and so dark that by the time El-Rufai would wake up, he discovered that he has been used and dumped. Used and dumped, lost on both ways. Like he lost the chance of being still in power, right? Like Werewike with Tifnubu right now, the way Werewike is acting. Then he also lost his base where he installed his own stooge, Ubasani, who has reneged on the toxic, murderous ways of El-Rufai by reconciling his own people in that Kaduna. At the same time, he also stopped the advancement of the Fulani jihadists, which has become a state-sponsored terrorism in Kaduna. All of these are contrary to what El-Rufai represents or stands for today. El-Rufai is now on the other side to start with, and is now a champion of a better Nigeria because Tifnubu has disappointed them. But the shocker of all of this is the fact that El-Rufai granted a BBC interview. And in that interview, El-Rufai said they were pretty much aware, these jihadists, these fake Islamists, they were aware of Tifnubu's criminality, Tifnubu's ways. In Chicago, he said it. He said, we were aware of Tifnubu's drug dealing, certificate forgery, but we didn't care. We wanted him to come and replicate what he did in Lagos. I'm like, what did he do in Lagos? Because this is the lie they've pushed so much that they started believing it, right? What did Tifnubu do in Lagos that you wanted him to replicate in Nigeria? Well, maybe you are not aware. Whatever he did in Lagos that they lied to you about is what is now replicating all over Nigeria. So El-Rufai is now saying that he is praying that an infidel like Peter Obi will join his party, SDP. His brother Atiku will join the SDP. And other names he mentioned that he is praying, not open, he is praying they will join him so that they can remove this druggie, they can remove this certificate forger. Unfortunately for El-Rufai, right, in what Yoruba called OJ, Atito Jebolo Shalowo, Owakubabanla Enitomabo, simply or loosely translated as Tifnubu has managed to get to the highest office in the land as your president. Now, the rest of you will think you made him that president, like El-Rufai currently postulating. The sad truth is that we are now going to wait for the forefathers or your grandfather or the fathers of those who are going to remove the OJ, to remove him from that power. That's what they call the attitude, Jebolo Shalowa. So Tifnubu and his gang, it doesn't really matter anymore. The Supreme Court of Injustice of that contraption has validated the fraud, validated the rigging, validated Tifnubu's forgery, validated Tifnubu's drug dealing past, and all of this in the face of this contraptions law, they are no longer crimes. So El-Rufai is arriving at the party late, and that is why when one of our callers last night said, do you even believe that El-Rufai and Tifnubu are fighting? I don't. I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? Now this is in Hausa, so I'm going to play this clip for you. This is where we're going to start this evening, okay? Then from there, we will touch others, including the drama that took place in River State, Abalama. I wanted to say Alabama. Abalama, in River State. We'll get to that a lot tonight. So let's start with this. Ahmed, Garba Live. Latu Aruna, and few of you, like Innocent Obi, who understand Hausa, you can help my viewers to understand what this guy is saying. I'll come back and tell you what he's saying, by the way, but for the record, please watch this.
Amma fata na da addu'a na shine duk shugabannin adawa, mai girma Atiku Abubakar, mai girma Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, Rauf Aregbesola, kai duk ma shugabannin adawa gaba ɗaya. Fata na shine su zo mu shiga jam'iyyar SDP mu sake yin wata APC ɗin. Abin da ke ɓata min rai ba ma da na sani ba ne, shine gwamnatin da muka ba goyon baya wanda muke da yaƙinin za ta yi tasiri, za ta yi abin kirki. Domin duba abin da Tinubu ya a Lagos. Muka ce duk da matsalolin shi, duk mun sani cewa ai Chicago da me duk wayannan abubuwan kowa yana da masafiya, amma muka ce look, in dai zai irin aikin da ya gyara Lagos a Najeriya, alhamdulillah mu ba shi goyon baya. To ya kasa, ya gaza.
Kana kan bakanka na wannan magana babu wani dattijo a arewa?
A'a, ba cewa na yi babu wani dattijo a arewa ba. Ni na san mutanen da nake magana. Ba dattijai ba ne, 'yan siyasa ne. Kuma kuɗi suke karɓa su bi wannan ɗan takara ko su bi wannan jam'iyya. Ba don Allah ba don arewan ba. Ni na sani.
Sartsan harshe ne ke.
Ka gane? Ka gane ko? Now, a lokacin ne magana na shekara na 62. Ko ina a duniya wanda kai shekara 62 ya zama dattijo. Dan kai shekaran ka 80, ni ba dattijo bane, kai ne dattijo. Kuma ni na fi ka gaskiya a area biyu. Na farko, ni na ba da kai na ma al'umma su zaɓe ni, su ban ƙuri'a. Kai baka taɓa yi ba, baka iya ba, baka taɓa cin zaɓe ba. Kai ne kawai ka ce kai shugaban arewa ne, wa ya sa ka, wa ya zaɓe ka?
Baka tunanin sun hango?
Ina zuwa. Na biyu, na yi aikin gwamnati. Kai wasunsu sun yi, na san abubuwan da suka yi aikin gwamnati. Dan da wayanmu suka yi. Na yi aikin gwamnati, kuma ni na san yadda na yi ƙoƙarin riƙe gaskiya a aikina da kuma advancing interest ɗin arewan da suke magana. Sai ka fito ka ce a'a abin in dattijan arewa ne tsakaninsu da Allah na gaskiya, ai ya kamata su tsaya su ce gaskiya bayan shekara 8 na Buhari mulki ya koma kudu. Haka dattijan arewa zai tunani.
Amma ka san an ce shi dattijo na da hangen nesa. Baka tunanin wannan abin da kake da na sani suka hango?
Ba abin da suka hango. Dan Tinubu ba su kuɗi bane lokacin da sun canza sun ce a yi shi.
To yanzu
mun san halin su, mun san su sarai.
To yanzu ka shiga jam'iyyar SDP. Baka tunanin kana buƙatar su?
Wallahi ni al'umma nake bukata in yi magana.
Za ka yi takara?
Ban sani ba. Ai ba ni ne zan ce zan takara ba. Jam'iyya ce da mutane su ne za su ce ka zo kai takarar wannan ko wannan, ko takarar da na yi na baya na gwamna. Ai mutane ne suka je suka samu Buhari suka yi convincing din shi ya kira ne ya ce ka je kai takara, kuma ni ban ma so in yi ba domin ni ban taba takara, ban iya ba.
Wataƙila tsohon mataimakin shugaban Najeriya Alhaji Atiku Abubakar na ciki. Ana ganin cewar a baya kamar kai masa butulci irin na siyasa. Yanzu kuma sai gashi ana ganin ku a tare haka.
Well, Vice President Atiku Abubakar mun yi aiki da shi, kuma na ji daɗin aiki da shi, kuma I believe ya yi babban gudunmawa a shugabancin Najeriya. Amma ni ban taɓa mishi wani butulcin siyasa ba, because siyasa wata haɗa mu, aiki ya haɗa mu. Amma a cikin aiki idan na gaya ba daidai ba, ko shi wane ne zan gaya mishi.
Kamar
na gaya ma Buhari, na rubuta mishi.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point if majority of us don't understand what he's saying, right? So I can just give you the summary. Thank you very much, Milady Latu, for that. So according to El-Rufai, they are at the stage called the buyer's remorse. Whatever it was that he expected from Tifnumbu, at this point, it is like a buyer's remorse. They sold the idea of Mumu ticket to the gullible wankers in that northern Nigeria. Meanwhile, they knew that this whole thing is never about the people, it's just about themselves. And most importantly, it's about power. At the moment they cannot have a seat at that table, the right thing to do for them is to scatter the entire table. So El-Rufai is praying to Allah to please convince Allah to bring Rotifni, Amechi, Ubima Judas Iscariot, Aregbe Mogbana Baba Kabiru, as well as Atifku and Obi an infidel, because that was what he said. El-Rufai, less than 2 years ago, when he said, never again would any infidel want to try to shortchange them. He was referring to Peter Obi, shortchange them to gain power, that the Muslims will rule Nigeria for the next 50 years. And for Kaduna, for the next 20 years uninterrupted. All of this, he has now swallowed to begin to call on his old friends and drop names. He said he didn't betray Atifku, because it was Atifku that actually brought him into Obasanjo's government, by the way, as well as Garbage Shehu, El-Rufai. These were products of Atifku. At the end of the day, Atifku was abandoned in what political pundit calls betrayed. El-Rufai said he didn't betray Atifku, right? And right now he is praying for them to all come together so that they can remove this Tifnumbu in less than 2 years. But the antecedent of El-Rufai, the Kaduna little finger, the evil man that I would never stop reminding you of how evil El-Rufai was. I'm talking about, see, this is a man that was supposed to actually be standing trial in the Hague right now, since the system in Nigeria possibly won't try him. This guy was supposed to be standing trial for terrorism, genocide, ethnic cleansing, religious, killings, and all of that stuff that this guy represented. Still represent though. In one interview, because he's been all over the place lately, everybody, if he sees anyone walking about with a microphone, there's a chance that El-Rufai will call you and say, I want to say something. He was on another Hausa Hausa sort of platform, where he said, Ribadombu, his old-time friend, is planning to jail him. It was Ribadombu and some of his own friends that are behind the reporting of El-Rufai to the international body probing the killings in southern Kaduna and in in the north central of Nigeria. El-Rufai is indicted, but he is pointing fingers at Ribadom. Listen to this.
Kowa ya sani wani lauya ɗan Kaduna a ofis ɗin shi Nuhu Ribadu da wasu mutane aka zauna aka rubuta petition. Wasu mutane suna cewa a'a yan kan ne suka yi petition, yan kudancin Kaduna ne, wallahi ana ɗauka alhakin su, ba su bane. Kan ba su wani petition kaina, yan kudancin Kaduna ba su wani petition kaina ba, yan shi'a ne suka yi petition, mutanen alzazzaki. Kuma a nan Abuja a ofis ɗin wani lawyer ɗan Kaduna aka rubuta petition ɗin. Nuhu ya sa aka rubuta, aka ɗauka, aka kai, aka ce SSS su rubuta report, suka ki. Former DG SSS yana da rai, zai iya faɗa yin ƙarya ne, suka ce ba za su yi ba domin sun riga sun yi clearing ya. Kafin ka je Senate, kafin a tura sunan kaminsa, sai shugaban ƙasa ya tura sunaye an muku security clearance. Ai ba wani security abu da yake fitowa bayan ka je Senate, sai an muku security clearance. Wannan ministerial abin sau biyu ina yi ko 2003 an yi mun, na sayar da aka yi. Kafin in je Senate din ma sai da na je SSS na ga director ya ce mun ranka daɗe ka tafi ba wani abu, ai kai mun san ka, muna da file ɗinka, ka taɓa yin wannan kaza ka tafi ba wani abu, you are cleared. I have been cleared by SSS. A office ɗin Nuhu da aka rubuta wannan wasiƙan aka tura ma National Assembly cewa I putting abun nan ɗina on hold domin akwai security issues. What are the security issues? A fito a faɗa mana, har yau an faɗa. Saboda tsarin su ne domin son kansu kuma ni yayi min daidai.
Nuisance lele.
That thing really pained him, that he got humiliated when he presented himself for screening as a minister, right? So he said it was Ribadon behind it, that the DSS or SSS cleared him, right? But they said there's a security report about him that he must not be made a minister.